Grab your drink of choice and of course tell me in the comments what is in your cup. I mean, you can see what is in mine. It's lemon water. And some of y'all think it's vodka water, and it's not. Some days I'm just really hyper. Hope you're having a good day. Cheers. We got some terrible bosses. If you've ever had a terrible boss, supervisor, employee, any kind of bad work experience, I want to hear about it down in the comments. You can keep it anonymous if you want. Old folks home kitchen, maybe 20 staff members. Boss declared we were too happy and made a new set of rules. It's always the most unhappy people that have a problem with happy people. Number 1, there was to be absolutely no talking, laughing, or jokes. Sounds miserable. The kitchen was to be silent because we were distracting ourselves from work. 2, anyone working less than 9 or 10-hour shifts were forbidden bathroom breaks. That's illegal. Going to the bathroom on a shift with less than 9 or 10 hours was a fireable offense. Permitted bathroom breaks could not be on the clock. Your lunch must be used to use the bathroom. Lunch breaks were 15 minutes long. Y'all better be calling HR. Y'all better be calling the board. This is very illegal. I pee every 20 minutes. There's no way I'm lasting 9 or 10 hours without peeing.
Thank you for sharing.
Any communication with management was seen as inappropriate. Staff and management were to be kept separate at all times. A manager slept with a staff member and it made a big deal, so that's why this was made. Oh, okay. So because the manager couldn't keep it to themselves and got involved with a staff member, now we can't have any type of communication. And 4, you will not be paid overtime, but will be expected to work. If you are to clock out by 8 p.m. but are still needed, you must clock out, then return to work. Complaints to HR or labor boards are fireable offenses. Okay, so everything's a fireable offense. Yes, people complained. Yes, the place was investigated. The ex-boss was sued, lost, morale dropped. They have had a hard time keeping employees now, and from what I heard, most of the new employees are high school students. The ex-boss announced a sudden retirement for the end of the year, and the kitchen will be taking over by new people. I jumped ship early on. Do not miss this place. I wouldn't either. Basically, you could breathe the wrong way, and that would be a fireable offense. Installing solar for a really sketchy Northern Irish dude who turned out to be a local drug manufacturer. Boss ran away. Oh my gosh. Boss ran away with 25,000 pounds. Is that pounds or euros? I always get them mixed up. Of the client's money and left us on site completely unaware of what just happened, still on the roofs. Oh my gosh. We only found out about the cluster when said scary Irish guy brings all his goons in to threaten us and our families unless we recovered the money. Trapped us there for hours before we defused the situation. Oh my God. That could have been so bad. That's a lot of money. The boss set you up. He sets you up to take the fall and the blame for his crime. Was told off for not sitting straight forward enough at my desk, as it looked like from afar I was tilted to the side slightly, and managers would think I was talking to my colleagues next to me instead of waiting for the phone to ring. I'm 5'10". Sitting forward at all times is very uncomfortable. I like to cross my legs. We used to work as a team to make sure we had enough cover that allowed us to go on our 15-minute breaks with a colleague. This was banned, and we had to go alone at all times, even when there was 8 to 12 people covering the phones, and we didn't have a call for 20 minutes. Our team came second in an award ceremony for customer service. This award was for excellent feedback in regards to the service our team provided on the phones and on site. Good for you guys. The managers and supervisors are never on the phones and mainly do reporting and auditing. The managers and supervisors were all taken for an all expenses paid dinner, drinks, and hotel stay to celebrate. This was kept a secret from the actual staff who had done the work. I only found out when I saw some pictures on a manager's desk. We were awarded with 6 pizzas to split between us. The classic, the good old pizza party. How many times in our lives have we been rewarded with a pizza party? I was a hard worker, like an extremely hard worker. One day a supervisor asked why I wasn't working at my usual pace. So I told him I was facing homelessness. Aww. if I couldn't find somewhere to live. He said, hey, well, I really need my superstar out there. I depend on you getting a lot done for me. He couldn't care any less about my problem. I was an employee who made him look good because I got results and not a human being. I never worked hard again and personally undermined the work ethic of everyone I came in contact with. I didn't have to learn that particular lesson a second time. That's terrible. Imagine, like, you just tell your boss you're facing homelessness and they're like, okay, well, you get out there and earn me some money, please. Real encouraging. Thanks so much for caring about the fact that I could quite literally be living on the streets. Started firing people by lining 2 up at the time and seeing which one they prefer to keep on. Didn't matter if you were there for 20 years or 2. Also, hiring management from outside and not promoting within, which means the new managers have no knowledge of anything that company does in terms of ethics, procedures, or employee status. It has turned this clique type environment into every person for themselves. Very toxic. I'm still stuck on the first sentence. Like, they just like call 2 people into the room and they stand there and then they just like deliberate right in front of them, like as if it's like American Idol, and they're just like, well, we do like what you, and then we don't really like this about you. That might be the most savage way of firing I've ever heard. I worked at a restaurant with a crap tipped minimum, $2.63 an hour. Are you kidding? We'd be penalized for being even 5 minutes late, so lots of us showed up 20 to 30 minutes early to make sure we'd avoid the penalty. This is Boston, so that was an appropriate gamble. I've gotten stuck on the T for 10 to 20 minutes on numerous occasions, and we just get right to work. There's plenty to do when opening a big restaurant. So we'd clock in and start working. No one was clocking in and failing to work. In fact, I liked getting there early because the kitchen would get up to 113 degrees. I would faint. Most of the morning prep occurred in the kitchen and was fairly rigorous. We didn't really have air conditioning and had to wear long sleeve shirts and pants. I'm definitely fainting. So I could knock everything out in a tank top and shorts, change into my uniform, and not start my shift a sweaty mess. The manager gave us a big lecture about how it adds up, even if it is only $2.63 an hour. She made a new rule that we couldn't clock in more than 10 minutes before our shift began, even if we were working. By the way, that's a 15-minute window of appropriate clocking in time in Boston with a notoriously unreliable public transportation system, crazy weather, and overclogged roads. F Grafton Street and F you Ashley. Well, assuming that Ashley is the manager. I have been to Boston once. It did feel like I was in the downtown area, which felt very busy, but I can relate because Toronto, as you know, is very busy, and the transit system there, you just never know. Sometimes I will leave an hour early for things and, oh, delay, oh, there's an accident, oh, like anything could go wrong. So I understand the stress. I worked at a nightclub in Miami and the owner was out of his effing mind. Years of substance abuse. Oh, so literally out of their mind. When the housing market crashed, obviously people were spending far less going out, but he insisted that we were all stealing. Oh, okay, so your business isn't going down. It must be that we are stealing. Okay. We had meetings once a week with all kinds of threats. Finally, he put in an automatic pouring system for $50,000. It basically looks like you're pouring drinks from a soda gun. Super boring. Wait, like, so there wouldn't be servers? It was like a robot pouring system? The fun vibe and flair we had was totally gone, which made sales drop even more. He ripped the system out 2 weeks later. What a waste. And you were worried that we were stealing. What a freaking waste. People go to restaurants sometimes or bars and this, not just for the vibe of the restaurant or the drinks, but for the service, for the people, for the employees. Did they experience something fun? Do they like the people there? It all ties in. People are a huge part of your business. Why would I want like an automated system pouring my drink? I'd rather have a conversation with someone. Oh, I gotta zoom in. Zoomy zoom, zoomy zoom. At a company-wide meeting, 45 people, called the employees an expense. It did not go over well at all. Yeah, no employee is going to appreciate that. 2 people actually stood up and threatened to quit on the spot if the boss did not re-evaluate his statement and could explain what was wrong with it. And he made it pretty clear by tone of voice and overall feel that he only thought of the employees as an expense and not as a resource. That yes, costs money, but also in the reason of the company actually earns money as well. And if he could, he would do it all by himself to save on the expenses of having employees. Well, great, then do it yourself. We are talking about engineers with years, in some cases decades of experience, and then he thought he could replace them if only he had the time. That was what the complaining was about. Make time. If you think you can do all of our jobs, by all means, I hand it off to you. Any boss who does not appreciate your knowledge or your work ethic, don't even give them the business. It's not worth it. He gave a regular customer a $2 discount off his usual order. He was moving and this would be his last time dining there. This was the first time he's ever gotten a discount. Aww. My boss proceeds to flip out on me, saying I was self-righteous. Wasn't that like the complete opposite? That was an act of kindness. Stealing from her, and I was, quote, the reason her business was failing, and took the money out of my paycheck. Nobody used coupons / gave a discount for the next few days. They were all scared. I grabbed my paycheck and put in my 2 weeks the day after. Absolutely, I would do the same thing. First of all, I don't care if you take it from my paycheck. Okay, if that makes a big difference, then fine. I will gladly pay $2 towards this man's meal, because he's a regular customer and he's moving, and it's a kind thing to do. Me personally, I'm a security guard at a library. My boss said she wanted me moving around a lot, which is cool. I would get up every 15 minutes, patrol the entire building, then sit back down for another 15 minutes. It's not the busiest place, so it seems to work out fine, especially since my coworkers always know how to get a hold of me. However, apparently a coworker told my supervisor I was slacking off, and this coworker's known for micromanaging people she has no control over, and that I wasn't doing my job properly. But instead of talking to me about it, my boss just says, oh, I meant constantly walking, 4 to 8 hours straight, no sitting down at all. Also, we fired the only other security guard, so you gotta take his shifts too. No. So other than a legally obliged 15-minute break, I'm supposed to be hiking all day long and assert my presence to the dozen or so patrons we have. I'm turning in my 2-week notice on Wednesday, and in the meantime, I just take very long bathroom breaks. You know, maybe that job, some people are like, I could walk around a library for 8 hours a day. I would lose my mind. I would be so bored. I could feel it. I could feel how slow time would pass by at that job. Plumbing shop. New owner came in. They were a married couple who had worked there for years and bought the original owner. A few months later, as we are heading into Christmas, they called each employee in one at a time to explain how they, the employee, weren't getting a holiday bonus because the employee had messed something up earlier in the year. My reason was that I had broken a mirror in the customer's bathroom and it had cost $200 to replace, and they just couldn't afford to pay any bonuses. I brought in over $500,000 worth of business that year. Yeah, but can't afford $200. Next week, they drove up in a new sports car. Someone asked what it was, and another plumber said it was a 2007 Christmas bonus. They've had a huge turnover in employees now. No one from when I worked there, 94 to 2008, is still there. Well, go figure. Isn't that funny? It's always the boss who's like, oh, we're not making any money, this, and they got the fanciest house, they have the fanciest car, they're living the lavish lifestyle. It's like, well, they have money. They have money. They don't have money for our bonuses because they want that money going elsewhere. All right, y'all, I want to hear your stories. All right, down in the comments, let me know. I'm out of here, though. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.